Wonderful. Well, thank you all for being here. We are so excited and honored to be presenting today. And we will be talking about how Pepperdine specifically uses Interfolio and how it's helped us bridge gaps, foster cross-school collaboration, and ultimately work more efficiently as a whole university. Throughout this talk, we'll share how we collaborate, how we work with other Pepperdine schools to achieve our goals, problem solve, and share info more effectively. I'm Kaylani Dyer, and I'm joined by my colleague, Jana Martinez. Together we serve as senior faculty support specialists at our university, specifically from the Pepperdine Graziadio Business School. So in our time together, we've seen how the right digital tools can truly transform administrative culture. We are excited to share what we know and hope that we can teach you something today as well.
Yes. So our agenda, our session today, it follows our journey from identifying the heavy cost of administrative silos to the successful integration of FAR, which is faculty activity reporting, and then review, tenure, and promotion, RTP. We have made the mistake of calling it RTP, and we will now move it to RPT. Lesson learned. Yes. But in this talk, you're going to hear RTP, sorry. We'll cover some of our challenges and how we collaborate across Pepperdine's various schools. We're going to conclude with some improvements we've realized and some of the lessons we've learned along the way. We're going to wrap up with some of our recommendations, and we're going to end with any questions you might have for us. The learning objectives. Our goal for you is to leave here with strategies that are going to maximize your efficiencies by reducing redundant data entry. I think we've heard at this conference about redundant data entry. Nobody likes redundant data entry, especially the faculty. We'll be touching on optimizing administrative-driven cases, leveraging cases and cross-institutional collaboration that we do with all of our schools. That really helps to unify our school as one cohesive group. And then we're going to share some of our best practices and tips that we've learned.
Amazing. So thank you, Jana, for giving us the overview of our agenda. And I just want to jump into it and say that in our experience, working in higher education, it's oftenly defined by silos, disconnected systems, inconsistent reporting, and just a massive duplication of effort. If you've ever worked in collaboration with another team and they say, oh, we already did that, and then you think to yourself, but we're also doing that. What a waste of time, right? So these aren't just technical hurdles. They're barriers that can cloud your data and exhaust your staff and faculty. Even within our department, it's a challenge to coordinate all the different stakeholders that you have to get together for any given RTP or annual evaluation. Things get jumbled, misunderstood, in-person conversations and emails. They can all just lead to forgotten information. So that leads to the cost of inefficiency. Who even has the data you're looking for? And Interfolio has really helped us to avoid delaying goals and lost opportunities. It's easy to have everything in one place with clear objectives and processes that everyone can follow. Interfolio helps us enhance institutional effectiveness, and our data-driven workflows lead into one single system.
What's great is that technology alone doesn't solve the silo problem. As we've learned, people do. Humans are still very much involved in this process. That's where we all come in. Interfolio moves the focus from the paperwork to the people work, allowing our faculty to focus on their teaching, their research, and their goals, while giving faculty affairs and the university all the data that we need. And the requests come in from ratings, from accreditation. We have all kinds of filters coming at us for what the data is needing, and we have it. That's the best part. Whatever we need, the faculty affairs and the university have it. Interfolio helps us to create a more cohesive ecosystem, and we aren't just filing paperwork in cabinets. In fact, we did a big cleaning of our office, and files after files after files were shredded, and it was so eye-opening of all the paper that we've used throughout the decades of reporting and record keeping. They're no longer being filed in cabinets, lost in one office. But we're sending these files electronically, and we have so much better collaboration. Streamlined data sharing across the university has greatly improved because of Interfolio. With Interfolio, we're collaborating on one system. So much easier. At Pepperdine Graziadio Business School, we make use of both faculty activity reporting, FAR, and review tenure and promotion, RTP. We use them both. Integrating these two isn't just a technical move. It really was a synergy of policy and technology that created one cohesive ecosystem for us. By leveraging these two together, the data flows naturally from activity reporting right into the review process. Quick show of hands, we are just curious. How many of you are using both RTP and FAR right now? Nice. How many of you aren't? You're just using maybe one. Awesome. So it's kind of a mixed group. Great. You're in the right room. We wanted to talk to people in both. So you're going to see that you're going to love how much time it saves you if you do integrate both. And there's a lot of you already using both, which is great. The best part for us of using both RTP and FAR, the faculty do not need to spend a lot of time inputting data we already have on file for them. By pulling data from FAR directly into their RTP cases, we respect their time. It's all about respecting their time. I know they're busy, and ensuring the data we have is consistent and accurate for all of our reviews. We like to view FAR as the objective verifiable data, the facts. And this was really covered nicely yesterday with the panel of guests in the main session. They already talked about this and they explained it well. RTP and FAR, it's basically the facts and the story. The faculty can use their RTP to kind of fill in the gaps of their narrative. We already have a lot of their facts, so they're just building on it. It's going to reduce the burden of manually re-entering for their achievements. FAR is the foundation, the objective, verifiable data, like their teaching loads, their student evaluations, their class GPAs, all of that comes over automatically with RTP and FAR integration. With RTP, that's the platform that the faculty's history, their customized career journey, it fills in the gaps from just the data. Like we've said, our goal is to reduce redundant data entry. It's a major pain point for faculty. Why do I have to put that in again? And the good news is they don't. We already have that. It also ensures consistency in all of the reviews, that they're all on one report on each of our faculty members. So we have the systems-fed data feeds that are automatic, which is lovely. It's already put in the system of Interfolio and FAR. Their teaching loads, their GPAs, their course evaluations, then partner with the faculty's contributions, their goals, their publications, their professional development, their volunteer work. It ends up telling the entire story. And I kind of like the analogy of the bridge. We saw a beautiful one in San Diego this week. The foundation's already made. They're just adding to it. This has eliminated the ask from faculty because we're just adding. And I think now our faculty appreciate that their data is already stored. I think they think it's a relief, like, oh, good, you already have my publications, you already have my goals. Oh, wonderful, that's what I wrote last year. They already see the benefits now of doing the work and having it in. Their bridge is already constructed. In fact, one of our faculty, he said, do I really have to put this in? I said, yes, because I don't know when your last publication and your last trip to China was. And he said, okay, you're right. So we do make them put them in because I don't have all of their history and all of our faculty.
And so along that same vein, by consolidating all of this data from many reports, from, like Jana mentioned, information going direct from our systems, faculty inputting things themselves, we can now give this one report to many stakeholders. So that includes our chairs for annual evaluations, deans, and accreditation bodies. We choose to create custom VITAs to help us control what data is going in. We pull these reports for 1, 3, and 5-year evaluations. Our custom VITAs are tailored to our university's goals, mission, and throughout our creation of it, we make sure that what faculty are inputting is what they're going to be evaluated on. So when they meet with their department chair, they know, I already put in my goals for the year, my volunteer service, and I know that is going to reflect positively on my review. It reduces the administrative burden on faculty and staff. We don't have to manually input everything or track down faculty via emails, begging them, please, please, can you give me? No, it's the onus is on them. If you did it and want to share it, you have more than enough space to put it in your Interfolio Vita. And we aren't just starting from scratch every time either. All the information that faculty put in, it stays with them. So we can review through the years what has been added, and they can show continuation of progress if they were working on something from 1 year over multiple years at a time. We advise faculty to update FAR throughout the year. And this is because we don't want them to upload a massive amount, the day before annual evaluations. We can't stop them from doing that, of course, but we can certainly prompt them to help avoid it. And so, like I said, for annual performance reviews that happen every year, it's critical for them to add in all their information, especially when they do it, so it's fresh in their mind. This saves time and helps faculty keep on track, and if they want to avoid stress, they can. But I think some just like doing it the night before.
Yeah, and with FAR and RTP integration, can we go back one more?
Absolutely.
With using both Interfolio's FAR and RTP, we do have consistent faculty reporting, shared data between the departments, and more efficient review processes, the dates, the deadlines, who has the case, better transparency for all stakeholders, faculty and administrators. So that's the best part. It really does sing well together. So if you're not using them together, you'll see there's quite a benefit to do it. I think this is it. Did you already say this one?
Oh, I don't think I did. But I think I mentioned it briefly, but this is just really a slide talking again about the benefits. 100% Interfolio engagement is what we strive for at our business school and require. Because, like I mentioned, annual evaluations, every single faculty member is required to have a filled out vita. If they don't, it means they weren't prepared for their annual review and really have nothing to discuss with their department chair. So the faculty members input their data, and the data is downloaded then into our custom vita. We particularly like to share those in batches with our department chairs, so they can get a preview of what their faculty have done throughout the year. They have time to review it before they meet in person. So for each new RTP case, the system automatically includes this same vita as an additional icing on the cake to what the faculty has done, and makes it easier on them when they are looking to go towards this big step in their career for review, tenure, and promotion. The system is a bonus because it stays all in Interfolio. It stays with the faculty. If a faculty has been with us for the extended period, it's very easy to review what they have done, how they have grown, and the increase in value that they have brought to the university.
Now the exciting part.
I know, right? So I don't know how many of you work in a university that has multiple schools, but we have several, and we try to work together the best we can. Oftentimes it's hard, right? They can be at different campuses, different locations, but we're all under the same mission. So how exactly do we work together? And these are all our schools, by the way. We use Interfolio under the guise of one member in our provost office. So she is wonderful, and she basically leads us all together. And we As a main point of connection, we want to assure that all the schools are aligned. Interfolio helps to streamline this mission because even amongst the different cultures and materials taught at each university, we can use Interfolio to create streamlined vitas and reports to make sure that we are all structurally looking at the same data. Interfolio flexes to meet each need of the university because we all use it slightly differently. Additionally, our data collection can be viewed through anyone at any university, right? We can use filters, so if we did ever have a need to, look at someone, personally, we have a faculty member who teaches at 2 different of our schools. We can look, what have they inputted at the other school, or how are they reviewed at that school as opposed to ours?
Yeah, it's a big scope. We go from Caruso School of Law to the undergraduate. Now we have a College of Health Science, to the business school, to a psychology school. As you can imagine, the needs are very vast and great, and we have international campuses too. So what is our goal? It really is simple. We want seamless faculty support and workflow integration. Technology, it really clears this up when you think technology is there to serve the people, not the other way around. Multiple stakeholders are involved with cases, and we really want it as streamlined as possible. Each of our 6 schools might have different requirements, different benchmarks. It's really about workflow integration. You're balancing what your faculty and your school need from that software, and it's okay if it's different. Seamless faculty support and workflow integration, it really is what drives our processes at all of our 6 schools. We're going to show you how this integration can look different.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, we have what we call an Interfolio institutional lead. That is Jeannie. I don't know if she's here today. She was at the conference.
Jeannie's here.
Yay! There you are in the back. She is wonderful, and she handles basically all the schools. So she is our #1 person for troubleshooting or questions that arise or concerns we may have, and sort of keeps us all aligned, right? So she is our main progress point and also disseminates information to us. And to help facilitate this, we do have monthly meetings with representatives from each school based on their availability and if they have, time to discuss. But we have also in these meetings a dedicated Interfolio representative. So he is there as the facilitator from Interfolio. If we have technical questions that come up, he's wonderful. He is able to sort of problem solve on the fly, but also bring back that information to Interfolio if it's a bigger issue than he might be able to solve in the moment. And I just want to say that having these check-ins is kind of key. We problem solve, we learn from each other. And even though we still use the Interfolio ticket system for certain technical issues, again, having that dedicated representative there to help us through that, or even help us, create a ticket right then and there, is super informative. So shout out to Nick Holden. I heard he's at the conference today, but just unable to sort of come down and join us. But we really appreciate him and everything he does. So as a group, during these Zoom meetings, and sometimes emails, we communicate trainings, new Interfolio features, ideas, problems. It all gets discussed.
Yeah, and when I started, I asked Nick, can you help me make templates? And he was so gracious. He said, I think you got it, and then I'll see how it goes. I really wanted him to hold my hand and help me, and he said, no, you can do it. So he's a great resource, but I have to know that he's not going to do it all for me. I have to learn myself. Adapting to each school's needs is how Interfolio really shines. We can balance consistency with each of our respective schools' needs. As a graduate business school, AACSB accreditation is a really vital, important piece of our data collection. Having our faculty activities, goals, education organized into Interfolio makes the data gathering portion of accreditation significantly less painful. We pull this data all the time for various requests. We also, as Kaylani mentioned, we pull their FAR Vita every year for the full-time faculty's annual reviews. So we make sure that we're looking if things are updated. And institutional consistency is key. Unified templates from the Provost office that we all use for our faculty data forms. Each of our schools use the same form, which helps keep it consistent. The central oversight we have with one centralized rep, standardized data with continuous alignment and communication, while we can also tailor our workflows and our specific benchmarks for each of our individual schools and the needs of our faculty or our administration. We have a balanced approach. It's not one size fits all, and that's the best part about Interfolio.
So yes, Interfolio flexes to meet each of our different schools' needs while, again, maintaining that institutional consistency. We can share a few examples of how each of our, we have 4 schools that we're going to share examples with, use Interfolio in different ways. So from large faculty populations to various case needs and high volume, each school uses Interfolio uniquely. There we go. And I want to talk first about our undergrad school, Seaver College. So they leverage Interfolio for high volume review, tenure, and promotion tracking. They have a large body of faculty that they, of course, need to track throughout their life cycle at the university. So with that many faculty, using Interfolio can make it a more manageable job. They also like to use Interfolio's internal forms to assist with this process. We at the Pepperdine Graziadio Business School, again, primarily use FAR and RTP. We keep all our faculty up to date with those annual evaluations, and we track also, additionally, emeritus applications and special cases in Interfolio. It's a way to sort of keep all our faculty, even if they are no longer actively teaching at the school, in one place. So some of our other schools include the School of Public Policy and the College of Health Sciences. the College of Health Science is very new, so them adopting Interfolio in their literal beginnings is actually amazing. It's going to make their life so much easier. First, talking about the School of Public Policy, they mainly use faculty search. They use faculty search in modules and have shared some of the cases of how they like filtering applicants, vetting based on data-driven insights, and using the STAR rating system. They like the real-time engagement and truly love the end-to-end digital workflow. Throughout cross-collaboration, we are able to improve our processes, and we now standardize faculty reporting procedures, reduce manual work, and improve RTP accuracy. Did I skip you, Jana?
No, we're good.
Okay, all right. For some reason, I just thought in my mind that you had a slide here, but I will just keep on going. So again, yes, we're increasing transparency throughout our schools. Again, going to the fact that any one of the schools can look at the data from another. Maybe they gain inspiration and start doing what we're doing. And we do believe at Graziadio we are using Interfolio in the most diverse ways, but also strengthening communications. Again, going back to those monthly meetings where we all sort of go in and collaborate.
Yeah, and when I talked to one of the schools, they said, would you believe with Interfolio, not one piece of paper was needed. Digital workflows from the beginning of the applicants to the end, not one piece of paper. What a difference. So we have some hard-won tips that we have learned. Committee managers, this is good. These are things you might say, how did you not know that? But when you don't know something, you don't know. So I have these tips. I hope that you'll take them and go, that's why I was struggling. Or yeah, of course I already knew that. I didn't. So when I was learning, these were hard-won tips that I figured out with some hard knocks against the wall. Okay, committee managers, they're marked with a star. Easy enough, right? If you don't have someone marked with a star, they can't upload into the case. And I've also learned the hard way that when there are locked sections, that a committee manager can unlock a section. So I said, how did the candidate get to put more documents in? Oh, I unlocked it for him. So good to know. A committee manager and the steps can also unlock, and they can obviously upload into the case. If a member of a committee doesn't have the star selected by their name, it's not, darkened, then they can only view the case. They can't upload. And then Interfolio makes it so easy to recuse a member. We have a little complicated system where a dean's going up for a 5-year review, or a personnel committee member is going up for promotion. We have to recuse them, which means excuse them for the next step. When they're on the personnel committee, they can't review that step. Recusing someone in the case is so easy. Interfolio makes it so user-friendly. So that's been nice. And then it's also been helpful to learn this one, that when you send out a request for an external peer review, an external review, it doesn't show up on their Interfolio wall. They have to click on the email link to access the peer review. That one I had to learn. So they only get it from the email link. And then this was another one I had to learn. If you add documents to a peer review request after you sent them the link, it will then by default send them another email saying that more documents have been added. So before you send an email, a peer review, an external reviewer request, make sure you know exactly which candidate documents to include. We like to include all of them, their course evals, their vita, any supporting documents that the candidate put in the case, and we send it all to their external peer reviews. So that all gets sent in one email now, I've learned. Make sure I have all the documents and then send. Interfolio is great. It sends a 7-day and a 1-day reminder that the peer external review is due. So you don't have to harass them. They already got emails reminding them. And then we send our external reviewers, our peer reviews, a how-to question and answer with their invitation on how to submit on behalf of the candidate that they're reviewing. We select their documents again at one time, and then it just does a lot of the work for you. Then beyond promotion, this has been really exciting for us. We've also implemented an RTP, a use for only admin cases. So the candidate's not even involved in these. And it became a problem because we didn't know who had the case, like who had that emeritus application, who's got it. Is it with the dean? Is it with the provost, the department chair? Is it still with the candidate? So we started using RTP for special cases like emeritus. We figured, let's give it a shot. Jeannie, our provost executive, was on board. And these are non-candidate cases where the candidate is not even involved at all. What happens is the faculty member says, I'm going to apply for emeritus. So they send their application, their letter to their department chair, to their supervisor. They let me know. I set up the case. And then myself or their department chair uploads their application, the approvals, and then we shoot it right to the dean for approvals, and then right to the provost office for their approval or denial. These have come in so rapidly that it's just taken so much of that. Who has the case? Who has the problem? Who has the paperwork? Right to the provost in record time. And it's because the faculty said, I want to apply, and it's done so quick. Eventually, the goal might be for all of our 6 schools to use Interfolio for our emeritus cases, because we already have a test that it works, and it's so easy, so simplistic, and we just make all of it just really streamlined, which has been a benefit. Another pro tip of routing one that has saved me 1,000,000 times. In case steps, send your cases back to you, the administrator, as the final step. It goes to the dean, to the provost, and then back to the faculty affairs administration, or whatever your title might be if you're the last person to touch the case. That has really helped with our record keeping. We're able to track. You're the last person. Then, streamlining RTP administration. Here are a few more tips we have learned. Advise the faculty to review and update their FAR first when initiating your new case for them. If they're going up for promotion, I'm now going to tell them, hey, take a look at your vita, because the vita for our templates, it generates automatically. So what happens is we start the process months earlier, and then months later they say, oh, I have a new updated information. So that's my first recommendation, is say, hey, I saw you're going up for promotion. We've opened up your case. Take a look at your Vita and update any information, and then we can regenerate. Their Vita will come over automatically as the case is open. We can regenerate it, the faculty could regenerate it, and it will tell you the timestamp of who did that. We also prefer using flexible uploads. Our school has the stakeholders, they upload files like a Word document or a Google Doc into their case over the internal Interfolio forms. We do like the customization, and our faculty like complex data and charts, and they like no word limits. So we found that to be easier. We just have them upload. It's an extra step than using an internal Interfolio form, but there's just so much customization that they like to put in their packet that we just have them do that outside. And then routing. Remember that the system, we talked about this a little bit in the main session yesterday. Remember that the system automation only applies to the first step. So all the subsequent steps require your manual routing. When a candidate submits their documents, it will lock the candidate section automatically, and then it sends it to the next step, but only that first initial step. So if it goes from the candidate, they hit submit, and the department chair is the next step, the candidate no longer sees the case, and it locks them out. They can no longer update anything, and then it automatically sends, which is nice. But just keep in mind that it only does that the first step. The other case steps have to be routed manually by you or your administrator. The candidate section locks, like I said, and then you can unlock it for them if they need, but we try not to do that. And then they won't be able to see the case anymore. So then more helpful tips I've got. I'm just trying to help you guys, okay? Just trying to help. When changing a candidate's deadline, you must edit it in 2 places. I've learned this the hard way as well. So there's a packet due, and there's an edited candidate documents. You can assign unique due dates to the individual sections of a packet. If your institution uses this, you would need to update the specific section deadline in the packet requirement area. So there's the primary place to change the deadline is under edit case and then review and settings. This date is what the candidate sees on the top of their instructions. I locked out a candidate once. He said, can I get a deadline extension? I had a personal, emergency, or I was traveling. I said, no problem. I just clicked the date, and he said, I'm still locked out. So I've had to learn. It's in 2 places. One's a cosmetic that's a soft deadline, and the one that we have to actually change. So make sure if you do change their deadline, it's in 2 places. And then we also like to label our templates by year. When was the faculty's last 5-year review? If you just have one template that says promotion, you're gonna end up having so much more time to have to weed through. If you said promotion AY 2025, you would be able to look their name up in the filter and then go, oh, their last 5-year review was in, 2023, because it said 5-year review 2023. We've learned that we have to take that extra step to make the templates customized per academic year, because some of them are going to have a ton of cases, and if you don't, you really will have to open up every case to look. So for us, it's worth having the templates labeled every year. Same with the Personnel Committee. I saw a webinar from Interfolio. This is their best practice. If your Personnel Committee changes, you're going to want to have a new Personnel Committee with the users each year or whenever the group turns over. Because if you don't and you just take them out and add the new person, when you look back at your archiving history, you're going to not know who was on the Personnel Committee at that time, and that's pretty important information. So best practice is to make a user group every year. And then in closing, what we've learned again, for us, simple is a better approach. We have found that using the required document setting requires the committee manager to upload in a certain place on another tab. We try to make it easy and streamlined and simple for them. We want to make it friction-free. We prioritize standard uploads, and we definitely provide written guidelines to help them. We found that a proactive session, we do drop-in sessions, we do screenshots, step-by-step to help our faculty have success. We wanted to make it easier. And then we provide also, like I said, written guidelines for our faculty and our external peer reviews. We also utilize Interfolio's helpline, their email, user guide links for assistance. Write your processes down. It's so vital. That's why we're up here today. We've learned so much, all because we just wrote it down. We are really proactive in troubleshooting. We'll be happy to meet with the faculty again and again and again because it's worth it to get it right.
So our journey isn't finished and we're still learning, but the foundation we've built with Interfolio at Pepperdine Graziadio has become more efficient and had our faculty become more supported. Early collaboration with stakeholders, it's critical. Clear documentation, training, ensuring that your faculty are adopting the program. It's what's going to make the difference between having an Interfolio that doesn't work for you and an Interfolio